Alrighty. Hello everyone. Welcome. Can everybody hear me okay? Good music for a nice change of pace. Change of pace from what? The music that I start with I normally start my shows with? You know, Dragon, for a person who is awaiting a package that I just sent off today with all of your ArvCon loot, you tend to be very, very down on that particular song, which, since I wrote it, I happen to like. You hear me loud and clear? Okay, good. Oh, okay. Change of pace from work. Alright. I was like, damn. Shots fired. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everyone. Welcome to Fantasy Fiction Friday, as I work on Nonstop's character background for the Patreon. You guys know the drill. If you haven't already done so, please tweet out the stream, !CTT. Please let people know about the stream. Please get everyone in. Tell everyone far and wide. Please check out the YouTube channel, !ARV2. Check out the Steam group with !Steam group. And check out !Discord, because that's the Discord server, which is cool. And last but certainly not least, !Arvtreon. We are sitting at 474 at the moment, and I'd love to get that up to 500 again, and north of it, because we have a lot of stuff that we can do when we start getting up above that level. And again, I have a new tier up there, T-I-E-R, not tier. I'm here for the Cretan writing class. You can barely hear me? Okay, let me drop the music. Okay, is that better? But anyway, yes, so we can do a bunch of cool stuff with the Patreon if we can get it up to the $500 level and above, and I have a new tier up there that I'll be recording a video for you guys once a month for patrons if we're able to cross the $525 threshold. So once we can get past that $525, that would be awesome. And I am indeed from an undisclosed Starbucks location, as usual. You guys might hear Layla, Clapton's Layla is playing in the background while I have the Final Fantasy Tactics soundtrack on the computer. So, you know, I apologize if that seems schizophrenic to anybody. But it's good to see everybody, and yeah, we got some character backgrounds going on. One last thing I want to note, by the way, tonight, this evening, we have got the second Talisman semifinal, which is starring CJ, Brahms, Uncle Elias, and Law. And so those four will be battling it out. One of them will join Shadowed Mage in the finals of the Talisman tournament. So 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, you do not want to miss that. And watch and see who gets to fight Shadowed Mage in the finals. So, and the third semifinalist as well. The other thing is that on Tuesday, of course, on Saturday I should say first, I have the Art Vocalists coming back with Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. That's going to be awesome. That'll be about 7 p.m. And then on Tuesday, I will have the first Adventures in Middle-earth campaign session. And there's been one lineup change. We still have Trendane Sparks, Terry Toons, and Will from Encounter Roleplay, but the fourth person is not going to be that bronze girl for time constraints. Because of time constraints, she's had to drop out, unfortunately, at least for the moment, although she might be able to join us later, but she cannot do it now. And so instead we have a new person who stepped in, whose name is Lauren Irwin. She is a Dungeons & Dragons player. She went to NYU, majored in drama, so she's a drama and improv person, and she's actually already on one of Will's D&D campaigns. So she comes highly recommended. And so that's the deal with that. So she's going to be doing the thing on Tuesday with us as we get started with Wilderland Adventures. I'm very excited when you guys see the characters they've made and all that kind of stuff. I even have an authentic Adventures in Middle-earth character sheet, so I even got that going on. So I'm very excited about that. Yeah, it was too bad about Bronze, but it is what it is. I mean, she had constraints, so that's fine, and we were able to find a replacement quickly, so that's good. I'm glad about that. So that's going to be happening on Tuesday at noon Eastern Daylight Savings Time. No, Lauren Irwin is not, in fact, an Arvin Elrond anagram, although I can definitely see some connections, but no, it is not, in fact, a female version of me. It is somebody totally different. So hi to everyone who's here to start this out. Hello to Extra Dead, Trout and Southland, ECAG, Death Knight, Big Boss, Beautiful Bear, and of course Dragon Spear, holding down the fort as my mod today for my afternoon stream. And we're going to be on today for about an hour and a half or so. I'm going to wrap up right around 3, maybe a minute or two afterwards, because I have to pick up my daughter from her last Friday of 3rd grade. Her last day of school is on Monday, but we've got class on Friday. And yes, someone cool, exactly. So I'm picking her up, and we're going to be hanging out as usual. And then, as I said, tonight we got Talisman Tournament going on. But what I want to do today is keep working on my character background for Nonstop. This is a Patreon fulfillment, so I will get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. Turn on that. There we go. Hi everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome, welcome. And yes, I am looking forward to getting some good writing done today. I actually got started on this already a little bit. Why is my hat messed up? Good. Hat straight. Need my hat to be straight. I got my Whalers hat on today, and I've got my Avengers Assemble shirt on, so I feel like I am prepared and ready to go. And as per always, my reward is with me. I've already gotten an early start on it, though, because I did a little bit of writing already, so that is what is left of my, my reward cookie. So that's what's left of it. But as always, water continues. My face has been replaced. I decided I'm going to replace half my face with a cookie, Extra Dead. I feel like it's a good decision. All right, so so we're going to get into the writing, and I am going to mute this garbage music that you're hearing through the microphone in between these things. So, yeah, I know, no sharing. Well, of course, you can eat along with me, Dragon. You can always do that. All right, let me switch over to the writing screen. Okay. So now what I will tell you guys is that this is a little bit of a new one for me, because this is a request from Nonstop for a character background on a character from the Anima Beyond Fantasy RPG, which I'm very, very vaguely familiar with. I knew it was like some kind of vaguely anime-ish, fighting fantasy-ish kind of setting, and that indeed is what it is. And so I did a little bit of research on it. So this is a different kind of animal for me from the usual. So it's been kind of neat doing it. And so yeah, you can eat a cookie along with me, Dragon. You can go get a cookie. You live in a highly developed part of the world. You are perfectly capable of getting a cookie. You can do it. You have the ability. You have chocolate chip biscuits? Chocolate chip biscuit sounds incredibly delicious. And by the way, Trouton, congratulations on your country voting to move back towards sanity last night. That was kind of fun watching it. I also have to say it was fun watching all of the, I watched a little bit of the coverage last night, and I loved having all the candidates from behind, standing behind the person announcing the results, dressed up like the the Stark raving mad loony party or whatever, and the monster party that looked some big Elmo party. It was pretty funny. I enjoyed watching that. Oh, you have Dragon. All right, we'll see. So you got nothing to complain about. Lord Buckethead even had a manifesto. Listen, Trouton. Any place where you can get a Lord Buckethead as a legitimate candidate, you can't be doing everything wrong. The best we can do in this country is to get the guy from the Rent is Too Damn High party, who's a raging anti-Semite. So I'll exchange places with you at any time. Hey, Sutifi. How you been, man? I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on, Sutifi? How are you? Oh, nice. You bought an apartment last week. Nice. Move it in a month or so. Awesome. Congratulations. Is this the first album that first apartment that you've ever owned, or have you owned other stuff before? Yep. Agree, Trouton. Nice. Well, awesome, man. Congratulations. Okay, so are we talking like a huge place? Are we talking like 4-room, 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, solarium, greenhouse, type apartment? Are we talking like studio where like the shower is in the kitchen type of place? Wordaholics Anonymous. I'm finished, not a billionaire. Aww. Yeah, I also read that, Trouton, that because the DUP, even with that, she's going to have like a 2-seat, like that'll give her enough to maintain government by like a 2-seat majority, but it'll make it very unstable because like basically 3 backbench people could shut the whole government down. So I heard some people saying that they think there's going to be another election by the end of the year because this one just isn't going to be sustainable, they say. So. It's a consistent strategy anyway. I have to say though, you know, I know that Corbyn caught a lot of smack for being kind of a, you know, people thought like a really far left guy that couldn't capture the imagination. He ran a pretty damn good campaign. I mean, May ran a terrible campaign, but Corbyn was really good on the stump. I saw him in a couple of debates, and Corbyn was good. So you got to give him credit. This is the biggest gain I think that Labour had in a long time. And I know that it wasn't an unalloyed good, but you gain that many seats when it was the other person who called the election early because they thought it was going to be a benefit to their party. It was a bad gamble by May, I think, but it was also well done by Corbyn. Yeah, I don't know that they're going to be able to cancel it, but the thing is, they're going to, if things like this keep happening and they keep delaying it and kind of like making it difficult, because the EU is basically like, get the hell out, right? And England's like, maybe not. So yeah, and there was a big debate Trouton I saw where she didn't even show up. So she had like some minister show up for her, which is weird. Hey Dragon, you remember them making fun of Obama because he wore a beige suit? It's kind of funny when you look at the current resident in the White House, given what people criticized Obama for, you know? Yeah, it's weird. I guess she's a lousy debater, apparently. I don't know. Hey Barontor, what's going on? Barontor, I saw that you were streaming. I think it was the BattleTech beta, which I definitely want to. I'm going to be hopefully have more details about some BattleTech stuff going on my channel pretty soon. But I didn't have a chance to get over there because I was busy running around this morning. What's your opinion of BattleTech? Are you digging it or not? I agree with that, beautiful bear. I agree with you. And also, one thing I was very heartened by, the youth vote, there was 72% youth vote turnout in England. That's a big, big turnout number. And that's because I think they see the Trump thing and they're frightened beyond words of that. They see the Brexit situation was a disaster. And Corbyn ran a good campaign. I think they woke up. The youth vote is very powerful. So if it comes out, that's the key. If it comes out, this is what happens. Yeah, I saw that, Dragon. But the thing is, though, that Trump supporters are always going to support him. That's irrelevant in a way. Like his hardcore supporters, he can't get elected with 35% of the voting public. It's not 35% of the public. It's 35% of the voting public, right? So it's less than 50% of the 50% that even bother to vote. So it's a minority voting bloc. They're never going to desert him, but he can't. Those people are not going to get him elected. So, yeah. So the fact that Fox News is an embarrassment to journalism isn't going to make a difference ultimately. It's everyone else who's bailing on Trump every day. Yep. Yep. Nice, parents were nice. I think that's probably true, Beautiful Bear, but I would rather go for an ambitious agenda that would be difficult to achieve, so we fall short of that, but it's still got some elements of it, than not going for anything and everything being worse. Because you're always going to fall short of whatever ideal you set. So if you fall short of an ideal and you get something, if you start with the ideal as being something very kind of, bland oatmeal, falling short of that's going to be even worse, right? That was the thing about Obamacare, honestly. Obamacare was by no means a perfect system at all. But by setting up an ideal that healthcare is a right, which it should be, a straight up right, the fact that we fell short of the ideal set up that as a precedent, which is extremely important. So that's why I'd rather we set an agenda and then fall short of it, but set the agenda rather than just, we'll never do this, so let's just go with what we've already done. Like that thing that Trouden posted, like keep making the same mistakes, Yeah, I played an alpha of that at Gen Con last year, Baron Tor, and I was very impressed. For an alpha, it was awfully well together. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I didn't play it. I saw it being played because I couldn't play it because the line was out the door on the convention hall, but I saw it. Amen to that. Beautiful Bear, yep. Oh, I think the Conservatives will probably end up getting the majority with be able to form the coalition. But you got to figure that this is a huge blow to them, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not obviously I'm American, but it seems to me like it's got to be a huge blow to Theresa May and the whole crew because they lost seats in an election they thought they were going to gain a bunch. So. Oh, cool. Yeah, I may well do that, Marator. There you go, Dragon. Yep. See, I think idealism can be practical when it's done in the right way. I do not agree with the purity police, which is perfect or nothing. I think that's one of the reasons we ended up with the current resident of the White House is that, we decided to go for perfect, instead of nothing, and we got nothing. But that said, I do think that setting up an ideal is important. So. No, but that's a good guess, Baron Tor. This is the Final Fantasy Tactics soundtrack. One of my favorite games, Final Fantasy Tactics. I want to play it on stream in the not too distant future, although I got other games I got to get through first. But yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics. It's good stuff. Hey, there's the man of the hour. What's up, Nonstop? I am working on your background as we speak, sir. I am working through it as we speak. I'm trying to make it generic enough that it could fit into a current kind of campaign. Generic in terms of like references, but there might be some things you might need to tweak because I did do some research, but I only know about the Anima Beyond Fantasy RPG setting very peripherally. Like I had heard of it, but I knew very little about it. So I did some research on it, and it's cool, like a cool thing to set up. But so the generic Nonstop, yeah. Kafif. Oh man, somebody said that yesterday. They said Comey put Trump in big Kafif yesterday. Not as epic as yours. I like to think every story is good for the people who created it in its own way, Dragon. Every story is sacred. So I'm curious, Death Knight. This triple sleep icon. I'm a big fan of Kermit, but is that basically the new Resident Sleeper? Is that like the hip version of Resident Sleeper? I just want to know. Thank you for the host, Baron Tor. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Baron Tor. Thanks, man. All of them help. Thank you, Dragon. This is new material. This is Non-Stop's character background. So this is all new material. A new piece. It's funny you should mention that, Extra Dead, because I did mention in my acknowledgements page for Renegade that I finished now. You know, the second book of the Grey Assassin trilogy. That I did mention, I did give a shout out to the Twitch viewers. So you guys did, in a fashion, get some credit. You got a shout out. Five seconds of fame. There you go, Extra Dead. Exactly. Nope. You just have to do multiple posts in which you have multiple chances for fame. That's how you do it. You're asking for seconds on seconds, exactly. A few more seconds. Thank you, BB. You guys will hear more from BB tomorrow during our performance of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, which will be starting around 7 p.m. Eastern, Daylight Savings Time tomorrow night. So you guys want to make sure you tune in for that, as BB will continue to showcase her talents. Thanks for the host, BB. And you should be following BB if you are not already, by the way. Oh, yes, that's right. She's doing, she's doing a charity event tonight. That's right. Thank you for reminding me, Trout. Yeah, she is. Although I don't remember exactly when it starts, and I don't remember what the charity is. I know that she does a charity event usually to benefit a cat shelter, an animal shelter, I believe, but specifically to cats. I don't know if she's doing that again this year or not, but yeah, she is doing a charity event. So you guys should definitely check her out. Again with the triple sleep. Are you making a point, Death Knight? Are you doing that because I'm yawning? I'm yawning because although this has been technically my week off, I didn't get as much sleep last night as I wanted to, because I was trying to wrap up a couple of things before coming out today. And I had to get up early this morning to take my daughter to school. I had to get the oil change for the car, and I had to mail out Dragon Spear and Grey Dybbuk's ArvCon rewards, so I had a busier morning. So, oh, you're just comfy. You have an Oreo milkshake. That's awesome. I had a really good, the milkshake thing. I thought about getting a milkshake yesterday. I was at this place near us called the Bronx Burger House, but I ended up instead just getting my regular meal, which was a turkey burger with salad. Quality turkey burger, by the way. Quality. They really are. They really are good. And then last night, I had actually forgotten that I was going to be having turkey chili. But I love turkey chili. It's good stuff. I don't think that's that weird. It means you're a connoisseur of food, your own and other people's. It's a good question, Big Boss. Ah, good stuff, Dragon. You know, I try to get a sense of the world that I'm working in, and then I try to come up with something that seems to fit that. The world of Anima Beyond Fantasy is kind of a fusion of Asiatic mythologies and cultures and Western mythology and cultures. So I tried to come up with something that kind of reflects that mix, which is why Sanis Tan and what did I name my main guy? Alec Tan. Just because I thought it had that kind of combination. And then I also try to keep the names consistent, you know, from generation to generation. So Sanis, Anik, stuff like that. So that's basically why. All right. We've reached the page, which means time for a cookie. Eat them if you got them. I think it's more like the last two, Dragon. It's fantasy and sci-fi. It really reads a lot like, to me, like Final Fantasy. I mean, Nonstop could tell you, because this is a RPG that he plays in. But my sense of it is that it's very Final Fantasy-like, which is kind of itself a mesh of, fantasy and sci-fi elements. So. Oh my god, can you guys hear that music? Little Evanescence. Can't wake up! Exactly. I mean, it wasn't a bad song. The biggest problem with it is that it was so incredibly overplayed. Oh my God, was it overplayed? So, yeah, Linkin Park is one of those ones that everyone always. I always felt Linkin Park was like a more serious version of songs like this, you know? So, no, Linkin Park had some good stuff. Rage Against the Machine. I had a friend who used to joke that he wanted to like Rage Against the Machine, but it was hard to take a band seriously. The sum total of whose political philosophy was, "Can I get a yo for justice?" which you have to admit is kind of funny, right? Like, Rage is, they're not very subtle, right? If System of a Down is kind of over the top, complex for no reason, like if System of a Down is like, hey, listen to this, make no sense, here, let's make even less sense. Rage Against the Machine is kind of the opposite, you know. Hello, Explode Fever, welcome. Oh, you weren't able to talk before. Welcome in, Explode Fever. No, I know. Yeah, I heard mobile has been having trouble lately. I guess people have been having trouble watching Twitch on mobile is what I heard. And yeah, I like Rage, but I'm just saying they're not, you know, you wouldn't call them like subtle. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. I kind of like the name Casperin. It's maybe a little bit too close to Casper, but I like the name Casperin. Complete, not bad for a complete random name. Also, apparently this is the entire Evanescence album playing on in here. I can understand that. What's up, Troll? How you doing, man? Oh, really, Troll? That thing, yes. Nice, dude. I am looking forward to it. Yeah. Yeah, everyone's been busy doing a bunch of stuff. The Tuesday stream, I've actually got some. I got a surprise for people. I've got a surprise for the players as well for the Adventures in Middle Earth campaign on Tuesday that someone's been working on for me. So we got things going on in a bunch of places. Yeah, it is. It is, beautiful bear. Yeah, I was talking to someone about Chris Cornell and about, man, crazy. Yeah, Brahms. Yeah, you do also. Yes, you do. Thing is badass. You know the drill. Giveaway on Tuesday. Like you said, you just got to convince your kid. You got to be like, Daddy needs you to be good. I need a player's guide. He gets water and a crust of bread. Well, what you have to do is, if you do happen to win at Brahms, you need to turn around and just be like, you need to be like, awesome. And then you need to start reading it to him. You need to be like, okay, here's what you got for your water and your crust of bread. And then just be like, open it up and just be like, the land of Wilderland beyond is blah, 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 blah. Good parenting, exactly. I said all that while I was muted. Let's try that again. Hi EA, how are you? He's a fellow GOG streamer. Hope all's doing well. Well, this is, I'm doing a character background, EA, for Nonstop, for a particular RPG, and this is the first draft, honestly, and then I'm going to revise it a bit, so I don't have an objection to commenting on words, but a lot of times people will say something like, you know, you use this word twice in the paragraph, and it's because I haven't gone back and revised it yet, so it may be something I'm already fixing, you know, or already doing something about. So that's what I would say. It must be English, yes. Correct, EA, that's right. But you have to remember that I just literally introduced Casperin about 2 paragraphs ago. So he is going to get more attention. In fact, I'm just about to add that in just a bit. So he's more than a personal guard, as you'll see. But yeah. No. EA's totally fine. Explode. Oh, really, Brahms? Wow. Maybe try uninstalling it completely and reinstalling it, or try installing it. Try running it in compatibility mode, maybe. Another option is to run it because it's cross-platform, so you could run it on a tablet as well, and you can connect to a PC game if you want to do it that way. I haven't run into problems with the Talisman launcher, but I don't know. That's a new one to me, man. I don't know. Hey, Terry Tunes. Hi, Terry. Speaking of the Tolkien campaign, one of the members in good standing. True, you need to just turn it on and off again. No. I realized, Kilobyte, when I went live. What's up, man? I realized when I went live that I put the wrong. That I hadn't updated the title. I updated the title within like a minute on my Twitch page, but sorry. Oh yeah, explode. Kilobyte is involved in this surprise that I told you guys about for Tuesday. So you guys better be ready. I am at an undisclosed Starbucks. Yes, Explode. I am indeed. How cliched. This particular undisclosed one. It's very important. I have to move in secret channels, you know. Actually, it's true. Never told you about the Tolkien Express. It is actually funny to think about. If you were going to go in an undisclosed location, one place would be to go to a place that is like the most unusual, there's no other place like it in the world type of place. The other one is to go to a place that is everywhere. And I can think of a few places that are as ubiquitous as Starbucks, right? So. Also, Brahms, did you try uninstalling it using Revo Uninstaller? You know, not just uninstall it using the game files, but uninstall it using Revo, where you get rid of the registry entries and everything like that. Because I had to do something like that where I had to, I forget what program it was that I was having trouble with, and I had to uninstall the whole thing, use Revo Uninstaller, and then I installed it using compatibility mode. It was Steam. It was Steam, actually. I couldn't get Steam to run and on my PC at home, on my desktop, and I had to uninstall using Revo Uninstaller, and then I installed it actually in compatibility mode, and then it worked. So. My location is not on, sir. No, this is not book 3. Yeah, just because I know that it worked for me, Brahms, you know, on this previous thing. This is not book 3. This is Nonstop's character background that he sent me, Kilobyte. I'm going to start outlining book 3 probably next week, is the plan. And then when I get back from Origins, which is coming up a week from this weekend, when I get back from Origins, then I'm going to start writing it. And I'm getting into my 10 pages a week mode, like 4 pages on Monday, 4 pages on Friday, and a couple pages during the week. And I'm going to just keep that up steadily. So. Also, I've only got about another 10 minutes, guys, and then I'll have to wrap up. As I said, this is a shorter cast today because I'm going to pick up my daughter. But I wanted to get some of this in, so I won't get this all done today, but I will have it done certainly by next week, I would guess, so that I can read it out to Nonstop and everybody before I leave for Origins. So. Thank you, Trendane. Thanks, Trend. Oh god, I know. I'm telling you, Explode. It's a battle between good music on the computer and bad music out here. Exactly. True, but she just does the same kind of songs all the time is the problem. There you go, Explode. I like that. That's a good song, too. Yeah, Law claims he's going to be here, but we'll see. All of those are good, Explode. All of those are good, actually. I'll have to think about that. Some good old classical music. I'll have to think about that next time. But since I'm only going to be on for another couple minutes, probably not now, though. But in the future, remind me. Oh, I try. I wouldn't say that it's always, there's always some lag. Sometimes I'm focused on what I'm doing on the page for a minute longer, but I try to respond to chat when I can, yeah. That's the whole point of doing this, right? Okay. And again with a loud. Okay. Well, that is going to do it for me, guys. I think it is 3:07. We made some good progress, though. Nonstop. I should be able to get this done in one more session. This is kind of fun doing something a little bit different. So I will have to go through, obviously, and make a few revisions and so on. But I will get it done. And then I will read it out. Probably not by tonight, hopefully by tomorrow, but if not, definitely before I leave for Argents. Maybe Tuesday before I leave for Argents, I might do that. So you will get it read to you very, very soon. But I got to get rising about on here because I got to go pick up my daughter. Remember, tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, guys, is the Talisman semifinal with CJ, with Brahms, with Law, and with and Uncle Elias. So those four individuals will be fighting for the right to face Shadowed Mage and the third semifinalist, but that'll be determined on Monday. So they'll be doing that tonight. So make sure that you show up tonight for the Power of Talisman. It's going to be good times. Yeah, hopefully, Brahms, what I would say is I wish I could help, but I got to get going. But see what you can do about maybe working with Dragon Spear and with Kilobyte, because those guys know a lot about technical stuff and are used to kind of troubleshooting this. There's got to be a way, and seeing about that. And awesome, Troll, thank you, man. But yeah, definitely double check that because they can figure out a lot of things, which I know doesn't help you in the short term, but But that is going to do it for me. If you guys like what you saw and heard, please make sure to follow the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Please check out the Hour of Treon, !Hour of Treon, the Patreon right over there, because we can get a lot of cool stuff done if you're able to support that. Please check out the YouTube channel, the Steam group, the Discord, and all that kind of good stuff. But I will check you guys out tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern as we continue with the next Talisman semifinal. And hopefully I will get this thing that I just started working on, I will hopefully get done very soon. And now, before the barista drowns out my voice, I'm going to get on out of here. Thanks, guys, so much. Thank you to all of you who made a wonderful stream, fun stream today. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Demizer, Dragon Spirit Kilobyte. Thanks to my regulars, to Baron Tor, Barmig, Beautiful Bear, Big Boss Bronze, Drakensberger, Dr. Death Knight, EA, EKAG, Fagwent, Hillness, Kajeldio, Nonstop, Poltergeist Zero, Trendane, Trollware, Trout, and Uncle Elias, Explode Fever, and Extra Dead. Thanks, you guys. You're the best. Love you all. Your best viewers on Twitch, and I'll catch you guys this evening for some Talisman. Until then, thanks, everyone. Have a good day.